Turn the video on.
That was really good.
Surprise. Just testing your house.
So, and I didn't use some of the meetings.
You want to go out of order and not do the rest of the stuff?
No, we'll do that.
Okay.
Quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll only take a minute.
Okay.
All right. All right.
Well, again, she thinks this is for Rayma.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Yep.
So don't.
She doesn't
She
do
may see
that.
She might wonder when she sees some faces.
Yeah, where's that? Okay.
Okay. We'll call the meeting back to order, and the first item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. And will you lead us?
Okay, sure. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I did that.
Yeah.
Last night.
Muscle memory, I was like.
I know, I saw you.
We had to Google it.
Yeah.
I said, what's the correct on the wrong side?
Yeah. Okay,
I'll make a motion to accept the non-public and public meeting minutes of February 16th, 2023.
seconded by Carol. Any comments or questions on the meeting minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, abstentions, that is 5-4-0. Consent agenda.
Can I make a motion to seal the non-public minutes from
Yes.
today's non-public session?
Is there a second?
Indefinitely.
Indefinitely. Second by Anita. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, abstentions, thank you. Consent agenda.
Make a motion to accept the consent agenda for March 2nd, 2023. Accounts payable payment manifest dated 3/2/23. Accounts payable payment manifest dated 2/23/23. Payroll payment manifest dated 3/2/23. Distribution of funds from the Building Maintenance Fund in the amount of $539.00. Transfer Station Annual Facility Report for 2022. Discharge for the Penny Valley Habitat for Humanity Incorporated. Land use change tax map for lot number 116-018 in the amount of $3,500. Seth Learned appointment paperwork for Police Department. Delegation of deposit authority for the town clerk, tax collector, deputy town clerk, tax collector, assistant town clerk, tax collector, assistant treasurer, and the town administrator. Appointment of Dorcas Gordon to the Historic District Commission as a regular member for a 3-year term. Appointment of David Shirley to the Planning Board as a regular member for a 3-year term. Appointment of John Miller to the Zoning Board as alternate member for 1-year term.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded. Any discussion or anybody want to specifically talk about any item on that?
I just wanted to explain to you why your manifests, I put it in the TA report, but manifests on off weeks, you are allowed to sign them in off weeks, but what we've confirmed with the attorney is you should ratify them on the consent agenda.
Gotcha.
So you'll still sign them on off weeks, but we'll put them on the next consent agenda for you to vote on. You just
Okay.
won't have those materials in your
Yep,
packet.
previously signed. Yep. Okay, great. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, abstentions, that is 4-0. Chief LaRoche, will you ask the rest of the folks to come in? Sure. You've all been invited in.
We would grab these chairs if we had to.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch over here, Carol, so. But if we. Is it right here? Oh my God. Sorry, right, say how to How are you? I'm good, how are you? Good. You forever. She's my mother. Well, when I watched her name, she's everybody's mother. She is. She calls me conservation last night. She says, I said, I in a conservation commission meeting. She goes, call me later. I'm like, I won't be out until 9. She goes, I'm parent enough to let her call me anyway.
There's no over here for you, Tom.
Hi there. Good, how are you?
Save you a seat up front.
Okay, Ben. There's a nice chair there.
All right, you good? All right, the next item on the agenda, before we get started with that, I want to publicly come out as helping to perpetrate a vast conspiracy to get a certain person here in the room. This year, our dedication of the Bristol Town Report is to Barbara Greenwood. It is.
I love mine now.
It is my distinct honor to do so in the honor of everyone here. We just love you so much, Barbara. We know how much you love this town, and we wanted to recognize that.
Can't imagine living anyplace else.
So we have a couple of things to do. A certain person is here to read the dedication.
Right here, you.
Yeah.
Volunteer. Yes, I did. Where do I
Do
go?
you have?
I'll borrow one.
You can
I'll borrow my uncle's. It's okay.
right there. Yep, and you could stand and.
Just read it, right?
Who are you?
Just read it, right?
Yep.
There are a variety of people that go into making a town into a community. Elected officials, law enforcement, educators, board members, all serving towards the best interest of the community. But some folks go above and beyond, spotting gaps and needs, working diligently to fill them. Sometimes quietly, anonymously behind the scenes. Other times standing tall and proud, speaking on behalf of a section of the community that might have otherwise been overlooked. Barbara Greenwood is all of that and more for the town of Bristol. Although not born in Bristol, Barbara Greenwood embodies the spirit that is Bristol, starting shortly after her family moved to the area from Massachusetts. In her first school year, she became the second ever carnival queen. This one step turned into a plunge to the heart of the activity and running of the town. Barbara is a special person indeed, not only because of all the good she has done and continues to do, but because of the way she brings out the good in those around her. The Select Board would like to dedicate this year's town report in honor of her. From her first days in Bristol, Barb, as she likes to be called, has been involved with the Bristol Community Center, now known as the Tapley Thompson Community Center. She was voted as a lifetime member of the Bristol Recreation Advisory Council, an honor that has only been bestowed on fewer than 6 people, including Barbara. A staunch advocate for education and historic preservation, Barb has been on the front line of initiatives to grow and preserve so much, involved in a myriad of projects, all to the benefit of our town. She was a founding member of the Bristol Historical Society. Her efforts in and around town were recognized on the state level when she was awarded the Tufts Distinguished Citizen Award in 1994 through the New Hampshire Recreation and Parks Association, often called the Wink Tapley Award. Early on, Barb worked at the Bristol Elementary School as one of the first teacher aides in the district. The school needed a librarian, so she took courses to fill that role. Several generations have benefited from her devotions in both the library and the classroom. Barb was a library trustee and worked persistently for the addition to the Minot Sleeper Library, which took many years to achieve and from which we all still benefit. Barbara worked hard to instill in the youth of Bristol and the surrounding towns the importance of literacy. There is not a piece or part of the town of Bristol that does not have at least Barb's fingerprints on it, either starting, restarting, or promoting. Barbara's contributions to the life of our community sets her apart. Her love for the children of Bristol and the surrounding town is evident in all the efforts she makes on their behalf, especially around Christmas time. Santa's Village, a highlight for hundreds of children each year, has been a staple of the town for decades and grown stronger with each year of Barb's assistance. She started the Concert in the Park series and worked tirelessly with the Community Events Committee to bring back Old Home Day, a tradition that had ceased to be until Barb and the committee took on the challenge. A ballot clerk for over 20 years, she has moved on to providing lunch for the current clerks each election. She saw a need for a new town office building and helped find the perfect place for the right price. She helped promote to get it approved by the town quickly, for which we all continue to benefit. She has been requested by name to sit on many boards and committees and is currently working on behalf of the new public safety building. In the past, the Downtown Bristol Revitalization Board was a pet project of hers. These are only a small number of Barbara's contributions to the town of Bristol over her years. There are many names that Barbara has answered to over her life: wife, mother, grandmother, friend. However, as we look back over Bristol's history, Barbara Greenwood is a prominent name all its own on that list. While she is commonly mentioned in daily conversation, there is no rarer stone found in the Granite State than Barbara Greenwood. Please join the select board members in thanking Barbara Greenwood for her unforgettable contributions and service to the town of Bristol.
And I will say a few words because I love my town. And when I moved here, going into our small school, coming from a bigger school, and to fit in so well, and the best thing, the first award that I ever got, and the first person to get it in the high school, was the DAR Good Citizenship Award, 1951. I got the first one. I don't know if they are still doing it, but that award meant so much to me. It still does. A good citizen. And that's what I hope I have done over the years. Thank
Love you, Barb.
Thank you.
We have cake, so we are in recess.
Sorry.
We are back in.
That was nice, Dave.
Anything that you're very nice. Anything needing signatures? Has that gone around?
Oh, no.
I'm sorry.
I
It's right here.
didn't start it yet.
Yeah.
Here's this one.
I'll start it.
That's your consent agenda coming around. Good thing you ran me, Sean.
Okay, the Pemmy Path Subcommittee update. MOU funding discussion. Who? Bill?
Well, I thought we were gonna do the consent agenda.
We're gonna name that seat after you, Bill.
We did do the consent agenda already, so
You
you're
did?
all.
Oh, yeah.
It's just the official part.
So, this is the kernel of the Pemmy Path Subcommittee. Not all, this is the kernel group. And-
Kernel?
Yes, the
I thought you
inside
said-
Yeah.
group. So I want you to, I'd like you to introduce Blake Robbins.
Hi, Blake.
Relatively new to Bristol. He's,
Welcome.
He's a federal government employee and he's also a National Guard.
Nice.
He's done 3 tours overseas, but he's decided Bristol's where he wants to be.
Very nice.
So, and he accompanied us on our walk last week down the trail. So we're going to talk a little about those things
Yeah.
and what we're finding out.
Might
We have
we-
been, as you can tell, we've been a very active group.
Great. Hold on one second. Carol?
I was gonna say, might we have met at Memorial Day Parade?
Yes.
There? Yes. Yeah, met you there.
Great.
Thank you, John.
Sorry.
That's right. And one of the things that I think that's important to realize is that the citizen survey came out at the beginning of February. And if you look at question number 12 and 14 in the citizen survey, you'll see that the Pemmy has got a the Pemmy Path has got a desirability rating of strongly agree of 86%, 78%, and an agree percentage of 18%. So that's almost 100% of the town, or at least the respondents, that want to see this path built. And we've, like I said, because we all
I see the price tag.
what's that?
Until they see the price tag.
Well, no, that's why we're here.
Good.
That's why we're here. So, we have, we've been working with, we've had 2 meetings with the Army Corps of Engineers. Christina was at the first, and we had the second last Monday.
Yeah.
And we have come to an agreement that the MOU is, we all believe that it's a good MOU. It's been, it was, some of the dates were taken out, it was made a little more generic. And so that's been done. We've thrashed through it, and we've thrashed through what the consequences of that are. And they're all in the minutes that Christina has. All those minutes have been written out. So if you ever want to read them, they're there.
There's also a set of stuff in your packets under number 4. SB1 is the MOU, SB2 is the draft minutes from the USACE meeting with the Pemmy Path Committee, and then there's some project responses, other things that are in there that Bill will want to talk about. So if you look at 04 SB 1 through 6, or the Pemmy Path Committee.
On the MOU, we were pretty much there with the MOU before, correct? There's no substantial change to that.
No, we didn't take out the stuff that talked about the funding, the specific funding, because it did talk about specific funding.
Okay.
Correct, Bill?
Yeah.
Okay.
And update me, was there, I don't think they took anything else out. I think that was the main thing that they took out.
And some of the, well, there's still an end of year date that's in there. But,
Oh, yes,
but we wanted to make sure that if we didn't come to an agreement, that wasn't going to preclude us from continuing.
Okay, so, okay, right. So the MOU shall terminate upon parties entering into a lease. If parties do not enter a lease by December 31, 2023, the MOU shall automatically terminate.
So we would probably, if we didn't think we were gonna be entering into a lease by this date, we would probably pursue a new MOU a
Yeah.
couple months before this date.
Yeah,
Right. And
Okay.
they're all in agreement with that.
good. Yep,
And, but what's important about the MOU is that it gives us, if the town, you agree to it and sign off on it, it gives us permission to go look for money. And we've been looking, and guess what? We found it.
Yeah.
We found an opportunity,
okay.
which we want to talk about. So,
So before you go with that, Bill, so we are at the point where we can, they've agreed to this
Yep.
version that you have in front of us?
yep,
Yeah, Tia did send this version to me. It hasn't changed, this version hasn't changed since they met with you, you say something Monday, so this
Okay.
is the same version.
So what would be the step in
There's a-
getting, just we sign this and?
Well, so 2 questions. I have to fix there's a type,
Yeah.
an email I just changed. I can get that changed and get that back to, and send it back to him. But do you want an alternate for the town besides the town administrator on the MOU?
There should be, yeah.
Because we can get that added in now too, and then if you can just.
The alternate would be
authorize-
designated by the select board?
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you put it
Would you have
generic
to
enough
name
that
a-
it's a select board member?
That's what I was gonna say. Do you want to put it as a select board member?
Yeah, I do.
The
yeah.
current chair?
No,
Any
You can do it generic
any
as any
designated,
select board member.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, select board member, do it that way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Sorry, Bill.
that's all right. No, the MOU has to go, it's gonna, we agree that we're satisfied with it. Then it has to go back to the Army Corps of Engineers and they sign off first.
Yeah,
Then it comes back to us to sign off eventually.
okay.
But, so I just want you to understand that that's the sequence that it goes
Sure.
through.
But before we go from the MOU, so we'll make these changes, we'll send it to them. I don't think they'll have a problem with those changes. When it comes back, do you want to vote now, as long as nothing else changes, to authorize me to sign it when it comes back?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll make a motion that the town administrator is authorized to sign the MOU between Bristol and the Army Corps
Regarding the Penny Path Trail. Yep.
regarding the Penny Path Trail, yes.
Second by Carol. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Those opposed, abstentions, it's 4-0. Thank you.
Okay, so, I attended a virtual meeting with Senator Shaheen, was offering a congressional directed spending.
Yeah.
And last year, she directed $110 million to be directly spent with little or no competition into New Hampshire counties, of which 7.8 million came to Grafton County. It is expected that she will have 100 million again this year. And also next year might be just a little less, but right now they're saying probably 100 million. So I attended this conference and listened to Ted Tipley, who was one of her presenters, and I got all the information. And what it is if you have a project in your community and you write it up, and there's a 9-page form that we have to fill out. And you submit that form, and it has to be submitted by March 10th. And if you're selected, if your project is selected, then you go back and you do another formal submission after that. So what we have done, we took the hike. We wanted to do the hike. We did the hike last week so that we could in fact look to see where and locate the PFAS can, which we did. We didn't touch it. Took photographs. It's right by the 1 mile marker on the trail. It's within 15 feet of the marker.
Yeah.
And you can clearly see that somebody, why they did what they did, I don't know, but they ran it down 1.25 inch branch. They ran it all the way down to the ground, and it's just sitting there. It's bizarre, but that's what's happened. But now that it's there and everybody knows it's there, we have to treat it.
Yep.
And it looks empty. We don't know if it's empty, but it's a problem. So we have prepared and we have written the responses. So if you look at the project outline, there, section 1, section 2, section 3, that's the outline of the submission to Senator Shaheen's opportunity.
Which document are we looking at, the draft minutes, or are we looking at the?
You're looking at the Select Board
I think-
223 PPSC reporting recommendation request document.
Is that your PPSC?
I think, remember, Bill, I sent them the different one. Is it the draft,
Well, the only difference between,
the draft presentation? That's what, they're seeing a different title. So draft presentation, that's the one you sent me yesterday. Is that the same one?
no, yes,
Okay.
Yeah, that's
yes.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
those are the
that's
points
SB
you've gone
6.
over.
Yeah.
It's number 6 in
Yeah.
your packet.
Okay, gotcha. We're there now.
Yeah.
Got it.
So, so if you look at the section 1 is project information, section 2 is appropriation source, section 3 is funding information. So what we've done is we've written the section 1, the questions 13 through 17 are the project details. So we've already written these. We've written these questions because we need to, like I said, we need to move. If we're going to meet, if we get permission to go ahead, we need to meet the March 10 date, and we need to get these. So they're done, and they're based on our conversations with the Army Corps of Engineers. They're based on us talking amongst ourselves, and they're based on our E-flap submission that was put together last year. Our responses.
E-flap.
We ended up not doing
Eastern
that
Federal
application.
Lands Access Program,
Thank you.
Yeah.
which we did not submit on.
Okay.
We'd gotten close to the submission and then decided not to.
Yep.
So, questions 1 to 12, they're related to the Bristol municipal government's response to past grants, including COVID, and that needs primarily Christina to respond to based on our track record.
Okay.
What it is we've done. And I'm prepared to work with her on that,
Okay.
just to get that done. Questions 18 to 25 are financial and schedule, and they can be derived from the E-flap program and the cost schedule. And we're basing this on a $2 million, which was the E-flap, which is $2 million. So we're basing this application on a $2 million application. Now, section 2 is the appropriation source. Now, there's all the federal departments, and you can go through the federal. So looking at the federal departments, what we suspect that we should be bidding on, and there was 2, but primarily the Department of Interior and the Land Water Conservation Fund is
Yeah.
the source.
Yep. That
Because-
seems appropriate.
They did the first trail, and we
Yeah.
have a good reputation with them. And they want us to bid again
Okay.
for the second part. So, but there's a sticking point. The sticking point is Land Water Conservation Fund require a 20% match.
Yep. Can that be in-kind labor?
Pardon?
Can that be in-kind labor?
In-kind labor. Now, from the E-flap, we know that what the Alexandria ledge climbers, what they proposed to do was valued at $600,000. So that more than meets
Yeah.
the $400,000 requirement of a 20% match. So,
I think we have some other opportunities in that if something
absolutely.
falls through. Yep.
So what we're saying is,
Yep.
we've got these ducks are lined up. Now, part of the problem is, we have to get a lease agreement from them.
Right.
We can't get the lease agreement without having done an environmental assessment.
And how do we pay for that?
Well, we're gonna put that in the grant request,
Okay.
that we're requesting that be funded.
I'm-
And,
Yep. Sorry, go ahead.
Would it not normally be a property owner's, statutorily a property owner's job to do an environmental assessment?
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, it depends, I mean,
The Army Corps is.
the Army Corps is the property owner, unless
That's what
we
I mean,
believe that there's further exposure from any other property owners
But they're-
along the corridor.
right.
So,
Well, no, I have,
You're probably right, Carol, but
not a
I'm
future, not a
also,
future tenant, basically.
I'm also probably pretty sure that they write their own rules on that.
they did say if they did it, it's gonna take a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so every action the federal government does needs to go through the NEPA process.
Right,
Yep.
And
right.
there's 3 phases of the NEPA. There's a Cat X, categorical exclusion, there's the environmental assessment, and then if there's if there's not a finding of no significant impact, then you have to do an EIS.
Yeah.
Right, so since there's a pre-existing rail bed, we're not tearing the place up, we won't get to an EIS, but.
So I guess whatever the Army Corps tells us they want.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Does,
They would like us to get the funding for that.
yeah,
One thing to note, it's a lesser impact because you're doing a corridor though.
not the whole
Not the
area.
whole area
Right.
too. But
Does the EIS deal with rare, threatened, and endangered as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be part of it.
Okay. Because you know along the river, you're gonna get some hits done.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to address the shoreline, in
Yeah.
the state Shoreline Protection
Yep.
Act requirements as well in there.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
yeah. Where we also will inquire of your old home,
Yep.
the DES, because they're fully aware, they have the hazardous waste report. So we want to go through them, and maybe we can get the funding through the brownfields as well. We want to talk with them we get permission to go ahead, we want to talk with them next week, so that we can put that part of the plan together as well.
It was their money that helped find all that, so.
Pardon?
It was brownfield money that helped find all this.
That was $10,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And they
Okay.
might have some money out of the hazardous waste cleanup fund for short-term, quick cleanups. But they'll know that, yeah.
So, so basically, they're the strategies of what, we will be busy, if we get permission, we will be busy next week, writing up the rest, contacting other agencies, and getting this together. The idea being, we would like to try and get this together as much as possible by next Friday, because the submission, I think, is Monday.
you said
The
the
10th, what's that? That's Tuesday, the 10th. So we would like to, if you give us permission to go, that's what we'd like to do.
Okay. Any,
Well, and the submissions should come from the town, so
Yeah.
they would do all the footwork, but we would submit it from here.
okay,
But
okay. Any questions or comments, discussion?
The only comment is, drives me crazy that something so simple is gonna cost us $2 million in the end. But that's the way things are, so I think we should move forward.
Carol?
So the
Yeah.
congressional directed spending is not the LWCF.
no,
It's not,
The congressional directed spending from Senator Sheen's office is not the LWCF.
no.
So you're going to pursue both of those, or?
No, she would direct that money to LWCF,
Got it.
and they would
Okay.
manage it. And one of the other things I forgot to tell you is that these programs are usually, they have a wrinkle or two in the programs that stop them from being automatically funded.
Yeah.
And that's why you go this route.
Yeah.
And we have this hazardous waste wrinkle in what we want to do. So that's why it's, to us, it's a very appealing
Yeah.
approach.
Yeah.
Sure. If there's any value in me calling her as a representative, her office, let me know. So
Absolutely.
let me know when you kind of get it together, let me know so I have the right information to put out. I'd be
Sure,
happy to do
absolutely.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anita?
I'm all for it.
Great.
Senator Hassan, maybe 2 years ago,
Yep.
was down and walked it too, so if it helps getting her office involved as well, you know.
It's also Pappas and Custer as well.
Right.
But
Sometimes the senators will work together, I don't know if it's more encouraging.
we're going this way
Yeah.
because they were the ones that
Oh,
put the
the money's
program
there.
together.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, if she wants to kick it across the aisle to somebody else, all the better. But
Yep.
as long as we're in the door.
Same aisle.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're right, someone that's seen it might just be able to say, hey, this is a good idea. Well, you know,
Yeah.
send it
Yeah,
to
if she just
Senator.
walks over to Senator Shaheen's
Right.
office and says, hey, yeah, I saw this,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, at least give her the spark to talk about it,
Yeah.
maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do they need a vote from us, or we have consensus?
I think consensus.
You have consensus, so I don't think unless you want to vote to just authorize us to submit for the submission, because it'll be outside of a regular meeting.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Motion then?
I was gonna let Carol get.
Well, I was trying
started
to
on
translate
this.
what she just said into what I would say, yes.
All right, I'll bail you out still. 2 more meetings, I
You know
can
what?
bail
This
you
is-
out.
No, this is your last meeting, no.
No, one more.
Next
Yeah,
2
one
weeks.
more. Yeah, one
We
more.
get one just before town meeting.
I'll make a motion to authorize the Penny Path Committee in connection with the town administrator to pursue the funding as presented.
Sounds good. Seconded by Anita. Any further questions, comments? No? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, abstentions. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you, guys.
The MOU,
You already did that?
We already did that.
any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was just checking to see if we were paying attention.
Yeah. Really appreciate everybody's work on this
Yes.
project. I
Thank you.
think it's been the spark that both sides needed. But do want to reiterate that, you know, we need to make sure that the town and the town administrator are part of negotiations, so that things don't get ahead of us.
Yeah,
Yeah, so,
understood.
yeah. But thank you all, it's tremendous work, and it's,
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Very good.
Yeah,
It's been a long time coming.
And Bill, I'll offer too, if you need connections at DES, if you can't get hold of people or something, let me know.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. We've got 3 names. Maybe what I'll do is I'll send those names to you.
Yeah,
And you can recommend which name you
okay,
should pursue.
okay, sure, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night, guys.
Have a great day.
And gals.
Yeah, a good meeting to come in.
Yeah. Where else can you come for a committee report and get free cake?
That's right.
Thank you, everyone.
That's right, take
Have a
a
good
piece of
night.
cake, oh, wait.
You see it, right?
Yeah, take some cake, because I'm gonna belly up to that when the
boy.
meeting's end.
Good night.
Joey, don't share food.
Wait, is your wife watching? 'Cause she'll-
No, she never, I don't ever have to worry about that.
Don't let her live stream.
I couldn't have any.
Yeah,
I've started a new program, so I can't.
yeah, well, so do I.
Yeah, me too. I had a piece of cake on my program.
Yeah,
Oh,
all right, let's see.
next is,
Town administrator report.
I must have closed it, so hang on, sorry.
It's probably not much, right?
Well, so I gave you the public safety building update. It will not be demolished, obviously, before town meeting, but we are still working very hard to get fencing put up.
Yeah.
Signs put up, if we
Yeah.
can get something put up, so that they know that.
Can I just go take a sledgehammer to a corner of the building for?
I want to.
I still think we should charge $20 a hit with the excavator.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They are doing some
You know.
training, so that's scheduled on March 1st. Oh, actually, never mind, I read the wrong one. They are doing some training by both police and fire, so both are doing trainings in the building. Police still has some things to get out of the building. I'm gonna meet with Tim tomorrow. One of the things we talked about, it's not on your list, is putting if we stop getting snow, just a storage container here on the corner.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to put it in the water sewer because they can't get to it if they need
Yep.
to, so. And we're gonna give them the other conference room downstairs for some space as well.
Okay.
So we are definitely filling this building to the gills,
Yeah.
so. They're in your packets going along with the public safety building. I think it's under, is a letter from the Energy Committee. It's 05 TA report, it just says safety building letter. I didn't get to code that number, but I can share that on the screen too. So I did not invite them to a meeting yet. I wanted to have the board, obviously, this is a big ask because we're already having to cut stuff out to have to make a change, but at this point, so I could invite them to this board to talk to you about it, or we could have them go to the Public Safety Building Committee.
Start at the committee.
That was my thought. They're requesting all electric to heat, cool, and light the proposed buildings and no fossil fuels, so.
How do they think the
They like some solar panels but we've already had to cut the back parking lot out,
Yeah.
obviously for such a large, hopefully we'll be able to find some funding to put it back in, but this would be another huge cost.
Didn't we kind of have that conversation with them last time they were here, or am I?
No, I don't know if you
We
have.
were talking about the heat. Yeah, we talked about the heat. We did talk about it last time they were here.
Maybe, we might have talked to them a little bit when we had them in here to talk about their guidelines,
Yeah.
but he submitted this officially, so I just had brought, and then you'll also see there's an email, a partial response from, the fire chief, so. But I think it's probably best to have it go to the public safety committee then.
Being that it's a public building, it's probably gonna be on a demand meter, and just the demand charges alone to draw that much are gonna be ridiculous.
And I know I'm a broken record on this topic, but our job with that building isn't to decarbonize Bristol. Our job with that building is to make sure that if at 24/7, it's ready to operate in an emergency. Even at the 7th day of an ice storm outage, that we're ready to operate.
I agree with that.
So that's to me, that's our charge. And it's not, our charge is not to decarbonize Bristol by.
Well, then there's the other thing, it's the Emergency Management Center.
Right.
And
Yes.
the generator that would be required to keep that up and running is just, prohibitive as well.
Yeah. Oh, but,
If
yeah.
if you're gonna heat it with electricity,
Well, that's good. That's a good call.
then you're not gonna do that with anything small.
Oh, right, because the generator is going to run the electric heat.
If you wanna put an 80 kW generator with a monstrous diesel motor sitting outside waiting, that's fine with me.
Diesel.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's a good question though.
Oh yeah, no, I know. It's just the irony is.
That's,
It is. That's a good question. Is that having a diesel backup acceptable to this plan?
yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
The second part of the public safety building is the public safety building committee. I put a note in your TA report. That was, there's a response in the TA report of how the committee was made up. I had made a request that I thought that I should be on the public safety building committee because I'm starting to get more involved in the contracts, the change orders. not understanding what the decisions are being made at the committee
Yep.
makes it very difficult for me to do that.
Yeah.
So, the response, that was the response I had gotten, so I'm asking the board to determine if that was how it was created, and if they want, if you would point me to be on the committee and go from here, so.
What is the response?
It's
the
not right in the
italics.
regarding the public, it's in the italics,
Regarding the public safety
and
building.
they.
Oh, in your report.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they felt that, you should appoint me, and so I said that I'd be happy to bring it to you, so.
They, being the committee, they felt, who felt we should appoint him? The committee? Ben and Anita?
No, it may be the whole committee, I'm not sure, but I had asked to be on, I felt
Yeah.
the committee, and they said that if
Yeah.
I should come to the board, it was better that way, and I'm like, okay, that's fine with me.
Okay,
So,
so done.
so done, okay, good.
So let it be written, so let it be.
Police department move, that's pretty cut and dried. The only change is that we are going to try to put a storage container out
Yeah.
there. The door lock, a lot of the door locks have been changed. One thing that keeps happening is the kitchen, we keep getting locked out of the kitchen. So we're gonna put a key code on that, just because
Yeah.
it'll just be easier
Yep.
to stop, so. But we'll take care of that. They've got their camera system in, so if you come in, there's cameras on their portion,
Okay.
their area, so
Yeah.
that they can see who's coming in and out of entrances, so.
Yeah. Smile and wave when you walk in.
I do, and then, so what's funny is Kirsten gets notified every time, but she wasn't at her desk that time. So I tried to make a face, but, it's definitely a lot more activity. It's taking a little bit to get used to that. But,
It was funny because the other day, maybe even yesterday, I drove by and there were a couple of the cruisers out front parked, and I was like, "Oh, what's going on at the town office?" Like, "Oh yeah, yeah."
update, Merrimack Street property kind of fell through the cracks with all of the transition. I was supposed to get a letter out to the former owner so we could get that off the books. Well, in the interim, someone smashed the windows. We boarded the windows up, just on the side of that they're smashed. I thought we might want to consider putting up some type of camera in the interim,
Yeah.
and I can talk to the police department about that. But I just wanted you to be aware if you went by and saw windows being boarded up.
That's okay. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say is going to be difficult. You're gonna have to make sure whatever cameras you put up are not looking anywhere else.
Yeah, they gotta be specifically, or in the building maybe,
Yeah.
so you can see who's doing it
Yeah.
in the building.
Yeah.
But no, the good news is no one was in the building. They did do a search through the building, but the glass was smashed from one side to the other. So they smashed it pretty heavily. I am going to try to get the letter out next week so that we can get this off the plate, and get it back off. We have an abutter, two different abutters that are interested in purchasing the property, so.
Yeah. Okay.
We've already talked about the highway department, but I don't know if you want to announce it for the public.
Sure. I think it's been over on social media and on the town's page, but there was unfortunately a fire at the highway shed or highway facility in the old salt shed that did destroy one of the smaller the F-350 utility plow / truck that we use. It's a total loss, unfortunately, but insurance is fully insured. Insurance has been notified, and we're working on that. The only other thing I would say about it is in this day and age, it takes a little while to replace those, so please be patient. We will do the best that we can to make sure that plowing and sanding and cleanup is done as quickly and easily as possible, but we're gonna be behind the 8 ball for a little bit.
Well, the good news is we have one on order already, but we won't be here till next year.
Right.
And no cardboard was harmed during
No,
the fire.
right.
I know.
The cardboard has been
was
moved
gone.
out. Talk about fortunate.
Yeah.
So no loss of revenue from cardboard.
Right. Complete loss of the chassis because of aluminum melting, but that's all right.
Yeah.
And a couple of minor, and other minor.
Yes,
damages
some
to other
some minor
vehicles,
heat
so.
damage to 2 other utility vehicles. But
And several $1,000s of improvement to that salt shed.
Right. Right.
Town office, I just wanted to let you know that the elevator, failed the inspection. When we did the server room move, we kind of knew this was gonna happen. We have a couple of problems from the server room move, and we're trying to work those out. We have a backup internet provider apparently, well, it's not working. The good news is the internet is working fine, knock on wood. It's the backup that we're having a problem with. We're also having a problem with the backup with the meeting managers area as well. We have 2 different providers, so we're going to try to get them in here as quickly as possible. We believe that the elevator, what we failed was because the video won't work. The video will come up and cycle through and click off, but it won't go through to the monitoring company. And the monitoring company doesn't service it. They told me a couple of things to check. I called the elevator company and they said they believe that it's an internet issue and they don't want to come out because they can fix an internet issue if that's all it is. The good news is with the inspection, that's the only thing that's wrong, but we only have 30 days to respond or we're going to get a warning.
Yeah.
So I'm going to work on in the next week, hopefully, to get all of those in here. The IT company said if we gave them some information, they would also try and figure it out.
Okay.
We think it's just related to the server room move, obviously,
Yeah.
but that server room is pretty packed now, so, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
The only other vehicle update is that the sidewalk plow, snow blower on the tractor is broken. They're able to plow, so
Yeah.
knock on wood, I don't want to jinx anything. Elections, they will remain at the historic town hall. We already talked about that with Rayma. Rayma and I have discussed meeting with Pierre in May and June to start for next year, to see what we can do for next year. I had planned on talking about golf carts today, but with everything else that happened, I didn't get to talk to them, so we're gonna work on that.
At this rate, we may need track vehicles.
I know, well, that's the thing,
Yeah.
we could get golf carts and we won't be able to drive them if we
Yeah.
get 8 inches of snow. Thank God we're not in San Bernardino, California, they got 8 feet.
We talked about this a little bit, about maybe having a staff person, or maybe even one of our own officers as an
Yeah.
extra person. If you got a golf cart and people are walking up and down the sidewalk and crossing the street here, it'd be good to have someone
They
sort
they
of
can come up
monitoring
that
that.
and travel lane and, yeah.
We'll
Are they
talk.
gonna, was the plan to go the sidewalk or the road?
I think they have to go the sidewalk.
Yeah.
So
So-
it just depends on if you can get it between snowbanks.
Yeah. We
The
do,
way things are going right now, so.
right, we do have a officer on site all day.
Yeah, he's at the building though. Jim.
But he's in and out, yeah.
I'm just saying, maybe we should have somebody, if we're gonna have golf carts, we should just have somebody out. That's me. That's the long day.
Yeah.
That's paying for someone for
Yeah.
16 hours or whatever it is. 14
Well,
hours.
7 to 8 to 11 hours.
14, yeah.
Use one of ours. Yes,
Can we do that? No.
I don't know.
I have
It
to read
depends
that,
on
I
your
have
job
to read that book.
assignments. It depends on your job assignments Raymond gives you,
It's
so,
the easier election.
I mean,
You know, it's
and
not the.
Right.
I'm thinking,
election,
I'm thinking down here where
We
the
may
traffic's
not get
crossing,
golf
and the
carts.
golf cart's going across the road and
we may not be able to get golf carts either because of the time of year it is, but I don't know if they're stored outside. And the company we have to go to is now in Tilton or Franklin, because we used to go right
There's
here.
another one down in Laconia.
Laconia. So the one I knew, and I know the cost of,
Yeah.
is the one that bought out the Woolseys.
Yeah.
But there's one in Laconia too, I can ask them. So.
Yeah, it's down by the theater. Go down to the theater, well, if you're coming from like Parade Road.
Okay.
oh, is that?
Lakeport,
There's,
down over on the Lakeport side.
there's one up near McDonald's too.
Yes.
Right? That you're talking about?
Yeah,
And then, as I said, if we didn't want to use one of our officers, we could approach the CERT, the Community Emergency Response Team,
yeah,
see if they want to bring some people in, because they do those kind of things. Again, for having someone out here,
Yeah.
making sure the golf cart's safe going
I'll
across
ask
the road.
Ben, because he's in communication, I think, with Sarah.
I really think we need to do this. Just
If we
First
can
off,
get
we're
some.
behind the 8 ball on solving the problem already, so.
Website, just the zoning amendments, explanations, document, and a video are now on the website.
Yeah.
We've got both sample ballots on the website.
Thank you.
And then we've added all of the documents for town meeting so far. The town report will be added now after this meeting, so we'll get that added on there as well. I think that covers everything that we need. If you see something else, just let me know.
That's great, it looks great to me. Fabulous.
Candidates forum, just a reminder for the public and everybody that it's Saturday, March 11th at 10:30 a.m. We've asked Kate to record it so that we could post it as well, so that people could watch it if they can't make it. So I already talked to you about the supervisor's checklist. I just wanted to point out, as of tomorrow, Mark Buckland has been with the town for 30 years.
Wow.
So I'm sure that he's not watching. He's probably
sure he's not.
sleeping.
So if you see Mark out and about, congratulate
Mark.
him for 30 years with the town.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna skip those. I told you about the manifests already. The only other thing that we're changing to, the consent agenda, we do read it into record, we share it in the meeting. However, we don't put the whole motion in the minutes. And someone questioned that. So what we're gonna do is attach it as an appendix to the minutes now.
Okay.
And because it really is incorporated, and instead of listing out the whole thing in the minutes.
Yeah.
So we'll start attaching it and you'll see it with your minutes when they come for your review.
Okay.
Talk to you about the non-public already. Planning board representative, we realized that Dawn is that representative. And
That's right.
we have a meeting in between when you are going to elect your officers and appoint your elect your officers and appoint your representatives. So we reached out to Les, who's the alternate, and she's agreed to come to that meeting. But no other meetings were affected. We wanted to make sure that there was no other problems.
No fighting over that position when I'm gone.
Lake Region Planning Commission appointments.
Sounds like a new
We
year
might
thing.
have interest from someone, but in the interim, I wanted to announce it because right now, the town is entitled to 2 commissioners and 1 alternate. We have 1 commissioner.
Okay.
And so if there's anybody who's interested, I have some bullet points of what the role is. So if I'm gonna email the person who's currently interested, who is a planning board member, and if they don't decide not to do it, then I would probably post something on the website to see if we can get some interest, because planning board has to recommend the person, so I have to start there with the Lakes Region Planning position, and then the board does the appointment.
Okay.
The TAC representative, which is the Transportation Advisory Council Committee. Yeah, we are entitled 1 voting member and 1 alternate, and currently we have 1 voting member. Both those positions are the same person, so
Okay.
we would like to get an alternate who could act in case Bill Dowie is not available to do either one of those.
Yeah.
So that does not go through the planning board, it strictly comes from this board, so if you know anybody who might be interested, this other person is only interested in the commissioner, is my understanding, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
We already talked about the DOT. We did want to bring it to, Conservation Commission did meet last night, and their recommendation to the planning board, I'll read them. They made a motion and a recommendation to the planning board. The planning board will meet on the public safety building next week. The public safety building had to do a special use permit. With no fees. It's informal, but it is good to make sure that they go through the process.
Yep.
So they went last night. Conservation Commission recommends to the planning board that the public safety building project proceed, as designed. Based on size and origin of wetlands and proposed drainage system, hopefully they didn't do this, the water to the river will be improved quality. It is recommended that the planning board and select board consider mitigation on another town property to offset the loss of the wetland. So depending on what the planning board decides, if they make that a condition, we wanted to bring it to the board's attention. There was a concern,
We thought, we want to make sure we did the right thing as a town to do. So we're, in essence, we had a lot of conversation about, is this really a wetland or is it a wet spot that's been created by 100 years of building?
Yeah.
Because it's basically, which is what a lot of them are. So it's going to be, in essence, eliminated completely, because part of it's under the Sally Port and most of the rest of it would be under the driveway going
Right.
to the back. So we talked about, when you eliminate a wetland, you can mitigate in some way or another. You can buy a piece of property, you can protect another wetland. There's a number of things you could do. And we thought maybe that we could look at something somewhere in the town that we could do. Whether we do some erosion work going down the Pemmy Trail down to the river, or anything that's some kind of a mitigation for the loss of that wetland. We thought as a town that it might be appropriate to take that path. We'd have to find someone that could kind of give us a value, right,
Yeah.
so to speak. So that was the idea.
Okay.
yeah, so we just wanted to make sure the select board's aware, just in case that does come from the planning board. It is something to consider anyway, but
Yeah.
the other thing, so next week, the public safety building goes before the planning board. They have a conditional use permit, which is for the steep slopes. We decided to continue, so I sit on the opposite table in these meetings, because technically I have to sign as owner.
Yeah.
So we wanted to keep, in case the parking lot gets put back in, instead of taking it off the plans and redoing everything, everything was just left as if the parking lot was being installed.
Yep, I think that's smart.
Yeah, so conditional use permit is for the steep slopes. It's more than, conditional use permit requires for steep slopes more than 10,000 square feet of disturbance and 15% slope. Obviously, we have that. It's gonna be 65 square feet of disturbance, so if we do the whole parking lot.
65,000.
65,000, sorry. Yeah, 65, postage stamp. So, the conditional use permit is the special use permit, which is the wetland, anything within 50 feet, structure-wise or excavation-wise, and we're actually going to cover the small 1,500 square feet wetland, so, which they do believe it was caused more by upper construction
That's why the email said origins. It's like-
origins, yeah.
Because we don't know what
But
created that. It doesn't.
per DES, it doesn't matter.
Regulatory wise, it doesn't make any difference. You're right.
So, they have a full site plan, with going before the planning board, and then they have a merger. Because those are two lots and they have to be merged, so.
Yep.
The merger's just, we'll record that with Grafton County and get that done, so it's one lot.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll see what comes out of that.
So the planning board can as far as deciding on mitigation, the planning board will make that
They
recommendation?
take your recommendation and they can make it a condition of the permit that's issued.
Okay.
The notice of decision, yeah.
To some degree of some amount of money though. That's the problem with mitigation. It's never free. Generally speaking, it's not free.
Generally speaking, but there may be some options.
Okay.
Maybe some options on existing town properties.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of like the Wells Field, not Wells Field, the Storm Center.
Yep.
There's
Yep.
some acreage there and some brooks
Okay.
and
Okay.
stuff that flow through there. You could do a conservation easement or something
Okay.
there that would,
NLRA has also approached me last night to talk, they didn't explain why yet, but it has to do with Cummings Beach and some
Okay.
money that they have.
okay.
So that's a potential too.
We also
so.
thought about that.
Yeah.
There needs some work on the stormwater retention piece.
Yeah,
Something that should get on the radar that hasn't been too, is there's an area on Smith River that's eroding that should be looked at.
that's what?
An
That's
additional?
eroding.
Eroding.
And it's gonna hit into Smith River Road eventually.
So.
Is that an additional area? Didn't we do?
We did
We
some.
did one, there's
Yeah.
another one that
Yeah.
needs
Yeah,
done.
so that would
We
be.
just haven't talked about it much.
Yeah.
You know what would be a great mitigation process? We could buy for $1 the flood control land along the river.
That would be a good one.
I'm not writing that
The
down.
New Hampshire Dam Bureau owns that stretch
Oh,
below the dam,
yep.
where the old road used to be.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and where the bike path is.
Yep.
I would love for the town to own
Yeah.
that and to have some opportunity there, picnic area or something along the river, or whatever. I was working with the previous town administrator, who didn't make any headway with that, so I'm thinking you.
That's right.
Great.
If the town had kept that dam and kept that power plant, we could have powered the public safety building.
No, you couldn't have, because the state of New Hampshire does not allow you to cross a property line without being a regulated utility. So. Otherwise, Freudenberg would be getting power from the Alexandria plant.
You make a good point about that. You know where the old power plant was there?
Yes.
And there's a couple of roads that go down, and when they first did the work,
Yeah.
you could walk down there, and I think I mentioned this maybe a year ago, that it would be nice.
It's all
to-
brushed in.
Yeah, well, you can't,
Yeah.
there's this nice sign there, but you can't walk down, it'd be
There
nice.
was a
The
woman-
historical commission,
There was a woman who came to the Conservation Commission who wanted to donate her land that she thought went to the river.
oh, that's right.
She doesn't own it to the river. It was part of this flood control
Yeah,
area.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but we were like, I'm sorry, you don't own that. But,
Yeah.
oh, the folders in front of
Yep.
you. I'm working on the slideshow, pretty basic. Is there any, so we talked about what we thought should be at the beginning.
Yep.
I'm gonna, before I get into your folders, the slideshow, is there anything specific, you just want the warrant articles at this point, and probably a picture of the public safety building
Yep,
kind of thing? Yeah.
yep.
Okay,
You wanna, yeah, that's fine.
and we'll do the recognition slide at the very beginning kind
Yep.
of thing, yep. In front of you is the articles.
Yeah, okay. Can I make one thing? Take the word accept article, it's just to move the article. And here it
I
says,
looked it up.
I moved to accept, really?
Yes.
That's supposed to be the right wording?
I did look it up, but I can take it out if you prefer to just say it.
I move to accept article
Yeah,
as written, really?
except Article 17 is written.
Wow, I've never heard it said that.
Yeah, no,
Well, and every town does it different. If you
Yeah.
prefer, we
Oh,
can take it out.
Yeah, I think it sounds weird.
Okay, we'll take
Yeah,
it
we're not
out.
accepting it, we're moving it, you know?
We'll take it out.
Okay,
for
sorry.
yourself.
I'm done being
Considering this is your
I'm
last.
being nitpicky.
So my,
Boy, it'd be nice when these high maintenance members are all.
Yeah.
all right.
People read stuff.
he'll still be emailing. No, I'm kidding.
Don't go.
So my question for this is there any specific key points that you'd like to have behind some of these articles to help you?
No, I think it's up to us to do our homework and.
I'm doing something for Carol already for exemptions and credits,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I almost started writing in on this copy of it, doing just that. Just put highlights of what I wanted to speak of.
So we should make sure that the one that has writing on it, we know it's yours.
Right.
Yeah, no, I didn't do it yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
we're gonna meet before this.
we can
still want
actually,
Because I want to make sure that the culvert piece, that I'm really solid on what we want to say on that.
Okay,
so then we'll have these all ready to go for the 16th, and you can actually talk about and make notes for key points
Yeah,
if you want
okay,
to, so
okay.
that way.
Yep.
I can add a couple of key points in there as well that we've talked about that I
If you
know.
wanna do that, that's fine, but
But
I,
other
yeah,
than that, okay,
we don't need a narrative.
yeah.
Appreciate it, but.
But, well,
Yeah.
I will have my own. So,
Christine says
Yeah.
that you need to say this. No, I'm kidding.
yeah, read out exactly what it says. I'm supposed to say that. Can we do, next meeting, do a workshop, you know? for
Yes.
20
Yep.
minutes or whatever.
Okay.
Just schedule it that way. Try to avoid people in the middle of a meeting.
Nice job with that, that's great. Great.
So your next meeting right now is you have the non-public minutes, we'll do that in non-public to determine what, because some
Yep.
things you may not release.
Yep.
And if I can get the water sewer job descriptions ready, you'll have those, but other than, so we'll do a workshop also.
Yep. Just 30 minutes, it's
Yeah.
not,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not,
Okay.
okay.
I know every time I say that's it, I remember something when you're talking, so I think that's it. So.
We'll come back to you before we adjourn.
Okay, on your TA report, can you go back to explain to me the net metering piece? I think it's simple, but
So I didn't have anything new to report, that was from last meeting, but, so we've been advised, that the hydro net metering program that we participated in for 2022, we're no longer gonna be allowed to, because we can't be in more than one renewable energy program.
we have the solar panels.
Yeah, so,
Got it.
the Energy Committee was looking into it to see if there's a way that we can do something about that, because we did receive about approximately 12,000 in revenue
Yeah.
for 2022 from the hydro, but the state is saying no now.
In Rex.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we actually got revenue, we got checks.
Right.
Oh, sorry.
Renewable energy
Yes.
credits.
Yes.
yeah, the library is separate, right, so we don't have to worry about conflicting with that.
What?
Doesn't the library get similar things or not? Or do they just do?
They have a solar program, but I don't know what
There's-
they get. for
They're a
that.
separate entity from us, so it won't conflict, I don't think.
I hope not. I don't
Yeah.
think so. I think what this was is that we were actually getting recs from the hydro.
Yeah.
And we also get a program offsetting.
In essence, they feel
with
we're
the
double
solar.
dipping
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so to get a rec, you have to fill out the paperwork as the producer of that
Yes.
energy, you don't have to claim it. Believe me, I've been through this in the
Yeah.
last 2 weeks. I got stuck on the energy committee as a substitute. And that was one of the laws that the larger providers of electricity are taking those unused recs instead of having to pay their fine, their ACP, their fine
Yes.
for not having enough renewable energy.
Yeah.
So those who are against that said that it's taking unclaimed property. It's not abandoned. The rec is, if you didn't use your rec, it's not abandoned, it's unclaimed, so.
Ha!
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they may not do it, it's a megawatt a year, so they may not do that much at the library.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, no,
and
yeah.
I think most of it pays for their building.
Yeah.
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 Thank you.
There was one more. We've been doing, so normally appointments, new hires, all is done in non-public, but one thing we've been missing to do is announce them in public.
Okay.
So I'll start keeping track of that. For instance, the good news is on the consent agenda, we did put the appointment for Seth Leonard because he had to have one signed. He's a new police officer that was hired,
Great.
so,
Yeah.
so they're fully staffed again. But we should probably, I'll just make sure when we do non-public, when we talk about any new hires or things like that, that I keep a list for the TA report and we'll just do it under the TA report. So,
Okay.
okay.
Very good.
And then in your other binders, there's a new non-public template because there's changes to it that just got rolled out. You have to do more in depth in your minutes than we've done, than we've been advised to do in the past. They
Yeah.
have to have motions for things, and votes, so.
Okay.
But,
We'll make sure we're doing that. Yep.
okay.
All right.
I'm done, I hope.
Carol?
We happened to talk about the LWCF grants last night at Conservation Commission. Bill Haskell brought in a sheet about them, and we threw out the idea that maybe that's something we should hunt down for our part of the Hall Road piece that Hilda Bruno was talking about, wanting to somehow give to the town, like 8 or 10 acres along the farmland there. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
remember she came in?
Yeah. Yeah.
And where it's supposed to be a recreational piece, there's a snowmobile trail along there, so if that's something that
I'm gonna be looking into that for opportunities of grants if we can.
I mean, I don't know if we want.
But I might be able to take the information and build.
There's a bit of a, and I, not wanting to get, or ask questions or get specific about their intent for the rest of the property,
Yeah.
but she's just talking about the field.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, so there would be a disconnect between the field and
We
the
talked-
wetland.
Yeah, we talked.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, we did talk about also, they would have to subdivide it off or do an easement. And if they subdivide it off, they have to keep about 100 feet of frontage. They have no other frontage anywhere else.
right.
But that's a good point, it doesn't guarantee us.
It doesn't go with.
That would be a selling point.
Yeah, that's a good point, yeah.
It would
So
be a-
I don't, we can, I don't know if we would.
Perhaps it could include a corridor
Yeah.
up along the brook to the wetland.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Just a tail 50 feet
Talk
along
about
the
that
brook.
next meeting, talk about it next meeting. I wouldn't want to put, if we put 2 LWCF grants in, would that be a bad thing? We're not gonna get it done in the near, anyway, so next year.
My only thought is if we could somehow connect it with the already existing Bennett wetland,
Yeah,
then
oh, for sure.
then
It's
that would be
great
a
point.
higher priority.
It's a great point, yeah. And then, I rode over to Wellington State Park the other day because a constituent said, why isn't it being plowed? It was like 3 weeks ago I got that email. Turns out it's plowed. DOT plows it after they do the roads. They plow it open just so you can get in there for snowmobile. But the Bristol PD cruiser was coming out. So they drive over and go in there once in a while and check it out. So I thought that was a good thing. So that's all I got.
Anita? Don?
I'm good.
I think I am good as well. So, do you have anything else, Christina?
Nope. If I do, I'll hold my breath.
Okay. Anita, would you like to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion
You're not
to
gonna ask
adjourn.
public?
Oh, sorry, public comment. I didn't see him.
Give Tom a little bit of recognition.
Sorry, Tom.
Yeah.
I got on a roll.
Yeah.
Any public comments or questions? Oh,
Almost there.
I have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Second by Dawn.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you very much.
Hey.
Bye. Christina, thank you for your efforts.